Hello YouTube, this is my first video tutorial. Today I'm gonna teach you how to track your component renders. Okay, cool. I already initiated an application to save time using Create React app. I deleted the default contents, and here we're just gonna create our own. First we need a child component. I'm the child. Cool. Let's include the child inside our application. Child. Cool. Now we need a state. I assume you're already familiar with the React hooks. Use state. Give it 0 as default value. And here we need a button. So give it an event listener. So every time we click the button, we want the counter to increment, which will render our app, which is the parent and its children. So set counter, get the previous value and increment it by 1. Amazing. Now let's test this out on our browser. It's, of course, you can't see anything because it happens, but you can't see it. Now we're gonna find out which components rendered and how and why. First, you need this extension, React Dev Tools. I'm using Chrome. You can find it on Firefox or whichever browser that you're using. Already got it installed. So now I can just go to the DevTools, go to the component tab, hit the settings, general, and check highlight updates when components render. Now what's gonna happen, every time a component render, it gets highlighted, as you see. There's another important feature. If you go to Profiler, go to the settings, Profiler, and hit record while each component renders while profiling. Hit record, and now let's hit it 3 times, 4 times. Stop the recording. Now it shows you the components that render and why they rendered. If you go to the app, it says it rendered because the hook changed. Our hook is the counter. So every time the counter changes, it updates our app component. And on the child it says, what did this render? Because the parent rendered. As you know, in React, every time a parent component renders, it renders all its children. Now let's say we have this problem, right? In order to fix it, since we know because the child we render is because of its parent, we can just memorize the child, react.memo, give it the child. Oh, I have a typo. Nice. Now instead of the regular child, we're gonna use the memoized version of it. And now let's record our performance again. If you can already notice, the child is not being highlighted anymore. And here nothing has changed. It still renders because of the counter, but the child doesn't render anymore because it's memoized. And this is how we fixed our problem. It might look simple, but think about it. You're working in a huge code base with thousands of components. You don't have time to go manually and check the code base. Why? I mean, sometimes things start to get slow and you want a tool that will help you figure out what's going wrong in your application. This will literally save you hours in debugging your application. So I hope you've learned something today. If you have questions, share them in the comments. This was my first video. Obviously it's not gonna be amazing, but it's just the start. So I promise you, I'll be coming with some heat. Have a nice day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.